Hey Aquarius, I'm Leona Nicole Black and this is your tarot reading, your general reading for April. Now guys, I know it's super late in the month. Of all the ones I still have to do, which are 4, yours was probably the one I wanted to do the most, but I am living through the Tower card, which you currently have here as well. And so therefore I'm just having to go through the upheavals in my personal life, and it just meant I could not get to you any sooner. So my apologies, but on my Instagram page I did a poll about whether everyone still wanted the reading, and the verdict was yes. So I am very grateful about your graciousness and your openness to receive from me still. And so here I am doing your reading. Just a couple of housekeeping things. I've started doing dailies on my Instagram page, which is Leona Nicole Black. So my Instagram's open, so you can just go and have a look at that whenever you want. And I'm posting daily tarot messages. Also, if you'd like to get a one-to-one with me and just kind of explore the energies in your personal life a bit more, you can get that from my website, nicoleblack.com/services. Okay, let's get into it. So I am actually really proud of you guys this month. I feel like you have taken on board a lot of what I said to you in previous months and really taken action on that, and the energies expressed through the reading are showing that you have actually done that. So the first card I have for you in terms of who you have been showing up as in April is the Knight of Wands. Now this is Tough Tarot. This is a slightly different tarot, not slightly, it's completely different tarot deck to the Rider-Waite message. And so the message here is about, this is actually the equivalent of the King of Pentacles. On this message, really, sorry, not the King of Pentacles, I always mix up the it's like I can see with my I can see what it is, but my mind is somewhere else in terms of the suits. But this would be the equivalent of King of Wands, sorry. So in terms of how you're showing up in your life, you're showing up with real passion and determination throughout the month of April. Also, I'm feeling stability here, like a lot of stability and a lot of will, ambition and intention to really create, to overcome obstacles. You have kind of stepped into your power, I feel, and you're really ready to initiate things and to really just get things done is the energy I'm feeling from this, and it's great. And you can even see in a depiction like this kind of fiery path forward. So yeah, this is really dope energy. I also pulled some cards around kind of what else is going on underneath those feelings for you, and I got 3 of Cups, the Abundance card. This is beautiful. This is kind of like emotionally, there are some emotional cards coming up more later in your reading, but I feel here this is kind of echoing to the fact that you are feeling a bit more open to your emotions, a bit more open to pleasure, and you're also beginning to understand the connection between how you feel and what you have, and the need to be more abundant emotionally in order to call in and to create external abundance and external pleasure, and to have enough to give and to be able to receive. And so this just feels like really positive energy, and you kind of, I feel as well, coming out of a more challenging cycle towards enjoying some of the fruits of your labor. You aren't quite there yet, because here we have the Knight of Discs, and this would be the King of Pentacles. So like I said, like a very grounded, very practical, very determined energy, very willing to work to create something. And this really is the energy of abundance here. So this is about saying that, yes, that's so interesting, because this is the abundance card here. And this is saying, yes, this is flowing through for you emotionally. You are actually receiving this energy now. And this is you being willing to take action on it. So you can see that this person is kind of in the wheat, you know, like they're in some kind of this made me think of like Theresa May saying she was running through wheat fields, for those of you who are in the UK and know British politics. But yeah, this is a field, and it's a field that needs to be harvested. And the message here is about, yes, coming into a more fruitful place in your life where there are like returns and rewards for your effort, but there's also more effort involved in reaping them. So let's say, for example, it's a job opportunity that comes through from your diligent practice, putting yourself out there, you may have to interview for it, for example, and that is effort, right? Or perhaps like someone has said, great, I want to sponsor some creative projects that you want to do, but now that requires additional work for you to get that off the ground. So this is the card about reaping the rewards, the opportunities, but now having to take action or invest more effort in order to get that thing done. And the last card that you have, which is going on in your energetic field about who you've been this month, is the Empress card. This is beautiful. For some of you, it's two things, right? Some of you, this is a person. Other of you, this is something you're creating. For those of you in the first group, this is a person, a love interest of some kind, someone you feel emotionally connected to, but may not be exactly where you want, or even just not be together right now. So either you're not together or you are relating with each other, but you're not really on the page exactly in the relationship you want to be in. And this is you really holding this person in your heart, holding them in high esteem. This energy came up for you last month too. So this is about saying yes, like you are really thinking about this person and you are putting in the work and the foundations you think is necessary in order to kind of show up fully in this situation, in this relationship. For others of you, this isn't a person, it's just a situation that you're creating, an abundant situation, developing your creativity, expanding your empire, developing like projects and things that you can really invest in and see grow in the world. And so therefore, this is what you're holding in mind, your ultimate creative vision. And remembering that the Empress is the feminine energy. So this is you saying, okay, there are dreams I want to give birth to and it requires me to do all that work. But like I said, your energy is like, I am very willing and I'm going passionately towards it. Fantastic. So the cards about what's going on in your environment, to kind of that are creating these responses from you. The first card here is the Nine of Swords in reverse. So like I said, I see you coming out of a more difficult period. I see you having mastered some of the lessons that we talked about, particularly the mental energy here, because this would be stress and worry and anxiety and not having enough and scarcity and like, what do I do? But it's in reverse, showing that you've realized that that's a disempowering position and that you do have choices and options and the strength and the willpower to move forward. You've also got the Temperance card in reverse here. This is you actually, I feel, finding more balance, finding more alchemy between the head and the heart, finding the appropriate expression of your emotions, or allowing yourself to be guided by what you feel, not just what you think. So less of that detachment that's unhealthy, but being detached in the sense that you are able to logically engage and process your emotions rather than avoiding them. And so as a result of that, here's the Star card, which is your card in the tarot deck. And this is about saying yes, like you are finally doing the alchemy of earth and water. Like you're finally bringing two different elements together inside yourself with a consciousness of what you're moving towards, what your vision, what your dream is. And you're starting to take a hold of what your resources are. You're starting to understand what your abundance is and how to best deploy and use that, which is really, really dope. You've got the Devil card in reverse here. So this is about saying yes, like you saw where you were in bondage, you saw where you were trapped, you saw what your vices were, you knew what your fears were, like you really were able, you did the shadow work really. You went through the darkness the last couple of months and you really started to confront some of those shadowy elements of yourself, and you are on the path, if not already, been able to get yourself free. And so we leave in terms of the environment with the Two of Wands. And this is you saying, okay, like I'm ready to advance forward. I'm ready to move. There are still things I need to wrap up here. There are still obligations, commitments I have, but they are not the devil kind of stuff. It's not, you know, relationships I shouldn't be in, or friendships I no longer need to be around, or any of that more entrapment energy. It's actually things that you are just still responsible for. So it could be, okay, you have children. So there's more strategy required before you can really take all the passion of the Knight of Wands out in terms of the Two of Wands here. So this is how you're feeling. This is who you've been this month, but this is what's going on in your environment. So yes, there are some things that you need to think through. You know, it might be, it requires travel. And so you need to think about the logistics, flights, where you're going to live, all that kind of stuff. So you're ready, but you're recognizing actually there's still some stuff to figure out before I can kind of advance forward. But still very, very positive energies. So the next card I pulled was like, what lessons have you been mastering throughout April? You know, we're at the end of the month, so I'm kind of doing this reading more retrospectively and looking at what you've been through. So I see here the Nine of Pentacles here, suggesting that you've been addressing some inner work here, and it's two different messages. For some reason, my readings and how I'm processing information is very dual at the moment. I'm always picking up on two approaches. So here is the Nine of Wands, suggesting that in this instance, sorry, not Nine of Wands, I keep doing that, Nine of Pentacles, suggesting that here, some of you have been thinking actually very specifically about money and how, and your personal security and what you need financially in terms of like your environment in order to feel good about yourself and in order to feel secure, in order to be like, yes, this works. And it's just really just this connection between your self-esteem and what you have. And you've really been healing in the form of the Devil card, any unhealthy kind of money habits or debts, or really thinking about like your relationship to your finances and how that energy, the resources of giving and receiving really works for you. And on the other hand, for others of you, this has been much more of a circumstance and esteem issue, really. So it's like, I think for some of you actually what it's been is that recognizing actually you are in a good place in your life, but you've not been able to see it because you've been in this energy. You know, you've been more downcast or worrying about what you don't have or how you're being perceived by others, or relationship dynamics with people, family dynamics, or all of this stuff here has kind of prevented you from recognizing your true power and your true strength. But I feel that you've begun to kind of master these energies, in whichever way they've found you, you're starting to get a grip of this and starting to externalize this energy, but not quite, because it's still in reverse. The Tower here, I feel, also is you. So I always feel like the Tower is the Aquarius card for me. Like, I don't think it traditionally is in the Tower, but for me it really resonates with Aquarius energy. And I feel like you have almost stopped the resistance and kind of come home to understanding how this energy expresses for you, understanding the upheaval, understanding the way that every time you kind of like go, great, I'm secure, I'm putting my foundations of my energy or my trust in this thing, there comes some shaking up, you know, there comes some new news, some information, some need to move away from it. And I think you're starting now. I talked about this in the daily reading. So today is Wednesday 25th. So on my Instagram page, I talked about this in my daily reading about finding the stream, the flow of your life. And I think you're starting to see how this energy can work in your favor rather than against you. And so you almost have got given into the changes that have been brought to you this month and are kind of still ricocheting. But I also feel, because it's in reverse, a lot of these changes are internal. So you might not even be experiencing that much instability externally, but internally feeling like, whoa, like I'm going through a lot's changing and shifting, new ideas, different emotional relationships to people, and just a lot of like turbulence internally, but knowing you've started to understand that you have to do that in order to go on this journey and this path here. So the last card in terms of what you've been mastering spiritually is the Nine of Wands, and I'm pleased to see it because you have had a wounded energy. But you've had that wounded energy that's like, I'm hurt, but I'm going to still go, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm not going to give up. And actually Spirit's like, look, this would be better for you if you laid down some of these burdens, you know, if you dropped some of this defensiveness. And so I feel like over the last month, you have actually been processing and integrating some of these wounds, really acknowledging the places in yourself where you do feel wounded, where you feel exhausted, tired, needing of rest, needing of support. So I asked then, given that these are the energies that you've been kind of processing and working through, I asked Spirit, what's the advice for you in terms of moving on to May and how you can be in the best position to receive the new energies coming through and make good use of them? So you actually get 3 reverse cards here and 1 upright, but your upright card is very positive. I feel like here with the 4 of Wands, the message is to check your foundations. So yes, you've been through this Tower energy and things have been rocked in order to show you what is worth keeping and what is not, what is secure and what is not, what needs securing and what needs clearing away. And I feel like Spirit's saying, just at this last week of the month, like, think about what your foundations are, what you've been building, what you've been putting your trust in, you know, what do you, and what you want as well, like what foundation. So you're doing this also to be able to establish this thing moving forward. We know that you have a vision, either with a person or just with a general creative thing. And Spirit's saying, well, do you have the infrastructure in order to allow that to come into fruition? I always say that Aquarius does well with support, with like friendship support, of course, because you are the energy of friendship, but with relationship support, you do well with having people to help facilitate what you're doing, and just having something very solid going on in the background so you can do that external work. So the question is are you creating the foundations that allow this energy here to thrive? And I feel like this is almost like a pause, like find your courage. The Strength card came up in reverse for you, but I feel like it's a pause moment, and it's to really kind of dig deep and find out what your strength is. Because I feel for you, you've really, even with the Knight of Wands, which feels like a kind of persistent, I will run ahead, I will go, 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 go. And with the Nine of Wands here, I feel like you have been pushing forward in life, but almost running on empty. You know, like when your car's running out of petrol, but you're just gonna, you know when how much it's really got left. The red light's on, but you're like, yeah, I can drive for another half hour or whatever. I feel like you guys have been doing that with your energy and who you are. You've been pushing yourself, knowing you're on low, but going, I can keep going, I can keep going. And the message of this card, this card here, is to find a different source and a truer source of energy and courage and passion within, something that you can draw on. Really, like, the way I like to think about this card is that these two are not really separate. They are two aspects of the internal self, the more primal, innate self in the form of the lion, and then the developed self and the personality self in the form of this feminine energy here. And so I feel like Spirit is saying, find out not just like how you are when you function on your reserves, but what other strengths do you have in which you can deploy in the world, but not on low energy. Like, what is your true strength now that is able to sustain you? And that's why I'm saying that you're kind of at a pause moment. And it's not a stop, it's more of a inventory mentally. You need to do this because you have the Ace of Pentacles coming, and this is amazing. I'm feeling like this is a collective message, really. Like, there are opportunities flowing in for all of us, and they will be different depending on what energy you're holding, what archetype you're living through. You guys are living through the archetype of Aquarius, and this is like real practical blessings. I think you can see this. I think that's what's motivated you to move forward now. There are gifts en route to you, particularly to do with work, business, and money. Just stuff that you can use to master the physical plane. Like, that's what I'm really feeling here. And so there is just that, I feel like that final piece really in terms of getting ready. You've got the Six of Swords in reverse here. I feel like there isn't this, sorry, I'm like a little lost for words, because I want to be able to tell you, like, do this thing, but it just doesn't feel like that. It feels like you've done a lot, you're going in the right trajectory right now, and all it is a little refinement and just checking and balancing as you move along in the right direction. Like, there's no big change for you to do, and so it's just about acknowledging that you are releasing an older version of yourself, particularly in the terms of how you've been thinking about things, and really establishing these new thought patterns in order to create something different as you move forward. So I just want to give you a quick preview of your energies for May. So let's get these cards out of the way. So your May energies then. Wands and Cups, which I think is really a depiction of what's going on with you right now. Emotions on one hand, and like will, ambition, passion on the other. You've got King of Cups and Page of Cups, and then you've got Five of Wands and the Knight of Wands in reverse. Maybe I'm going to separate them out a bit. I feel like May is going to see you feeling much more stable emotionally, much more grounded emotionally, much more able to give in to emotional situations, having more resources to give emotionally, showing up for people a bit more. You've also got the Page of Cups down here. So I actually pulled a clarifier on these two emotional cards and the Sun came out. Now, what I was feeling is that this was particularly to do with relationships, and that you've almost, like, the Page of Cups has come up before for you last month, and I was talking about it being your energy and you not having that much to give, you being genuine, you being loving, but not necessarily having enough of the right energy to match the other person. But I feel almost a switch now, in the sense that you are now the King of Cups, and you're able to return to any circumstances, scenarios, people where you were showing up like this and able to give them a bigger cup. Like, you're just stepping into this energy now of, I have a bit more, like, I'm ready. There is a new beginning here. Like, I am ready to come out. Like, I'm ready to share, I'm ready to expand. Like, this is really positive. I also thought that the Page of Cups here represents you being well received. So if you've got any concerns about, you know, people that, or situations, like, take it as it resonates, but you got any returns about your reconciliations or returning to people or expressing yourself and thinking, well, maybe they're not going to be that open to me because before I was only doing this, I was only giving them this, and I know they wanted more, they needed more from me, and maybe I'm like, the energy is saying that actually they'll be very open to you, and it will be a new beginning. But on the flip side, so I guess part of the reason I pulled this clarifier here is because I was thinking, what about the people for whom this isn't really about a love and intimate connection relationship? But I actually just don't feel it any other way. It is just saying, really, if I read it a bit more broadly, it's just talking about opportunities for expansion based on embracing of the emotional self. But it's just saying that you must show up emotionally next month. Like, you must, whether it's to do with a specific relationship or a specific business situation, or just in the way you navigate the world, that if you show up as the King of Cups, if you show up like this, grounded, solid, compassionate and open, emotionally, that the energy of the month will receive you well. You've also got here then the 5 of Wands and the Knight of Wands in reverse. Well, I feel like it's almost... This seems to me like spiritual challenges. When I first pulled the cards, that's how I felt about it. Yeah, I can't put it any other way. We'll have to see what the energies say next month, but it feels like a little testing spiritually, or some challenges. I often read the 5 of Wands as an internal challenge, but it actually feels external. I feel like maybe as you begin to expand outwards, maybe as you begin to achieve from your effort and are living through this abundance, and your vision starts to come into fruition in the form of the Empress, that you'll attract some envy, some evil eye, as we call it, you know, like people who are feeling like, well, why do you have? And people who projecting kind of more negative energy towards you in the form of jealousy, envy, being difficult, being less collaborative. It feels more external than it is you. And what I feel here with the Knight of Wands is that it's kind of that running out of steam energy I was talking about, like you kind of pushing forward with not much resource, because I'm seeing here that actually, so I feel like maybe the energy is slowing down a bit for you, but not as an obstacle. So this card seems to me to be saying that you won't be able to run very far or advance very far in terms of like intention and ambition in May, because what you need to do is master the emotional realm and the flow of water, the way water moves. It's a different kind of movement to the fire element. So it's saying like, don't push in May. May isn't that kind of push and that aggressive, more Mars kind of energy. It's like master the emotional realm and allow things to move forward through that, because this is also giving you the break you need emotionally, mentally and spiritually to recharge in order for this card to turn right and you to advance forward. It's also giving you the break that you need to be able to figure out where your real strength and power and sustainability lies. So Aquarius, that's your reading. No, it's late in the month. I hope it's It's been a blessing. If you'd like a personal reading, it's nicoleblack.com/services. Please do follow me on Instagram, Leona Nicole Black. And thank you for watching, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing, and all that beautiful jazz. I really do appreciate it. Take care.